December 1998. The waves of the Persian Gulf were about to witness a bloody storm that would forever alter the history of the Middle East. From the White House in Washington to the Pentagon's underground war rooms, maps were laid out and decisions had been made. Saddam Hussein's stubbornness had closed all diplomatic doors, and now it was time for the world's most powerful military force to demonstrate its might, in an operation named Operation Desert Fox. The U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet in the Persian Gulf had quietly assumed its position like a silent predator. The heartbeat of this fleet was the nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, the USS Enterprise, surrounded by a web of devastating warships and nuclear submarines, ensuring that not even a bird could fly through. On the Admiral's monitors, Iraq's sensitive locations appeared as red dots, all set to become rubble in a matter of hours. But this attack was not only a test of power, it was also a test of intelligence and technology. Iraq possessed dangerous Russian missile defense systems like the SA-2 and SA-3, which could thwart any airstrike. U.S. intelligence decided that the first strike would target the eyes that could see America. In the dead of night, when Baghdad was asleep, the vertical launch systems on naval ships slowly opened. This was the end of the silence, after which only the smell of gunpowder and the flames of fire would remain. The clock struck 2 a.m., and a resonant voice echoed from the command center, "Execute." In a single second, giant fireballs erupted from the decks of USS Shiloh and USS Germantown. It was the launch of Tomahawk cruise missiles, their glow illuminating the sea miles away in orange hues. Not one, not two, not 10, but 415 missiles set off in a precise formation towards their targets. These missiles boasted TERCOM, terrain contour matching, technology. Flying just 50 to 100 feet above ground, they navigated Iraq's rugged terrain, evading radar detection. Each missile carried a 1,000-pound high-explosive warhead capable of penetrating any concrete bunker. Baghdad civilians were still hearing air raid sirens when the first missile struck the Iraqi Ministry of Defense's communication tower. The explosion was so intense that the ground shook miles away. A relentless barrage ensued. Power plants, radar stations, and security bunkers around Saddam Hussein's presidential palaces crumbled like houses of cards. Iraqi anti-aircraft gunners frantically fired into the sky, but the missiles were flying too low to be intercepted. The sea-launched onslaught shattered Iraq's military communication network within the first hour alone. When the missile strike set the ground ablaze, it was now time for the predators in the sky, ready to torment their prey. On the deck of the USS Enterprise, the steam catapults launched the F-14 Tomcats and F-18 Hornets into the air with full force. The roar of the engines and the blue flames of the afterburners sliced through the darkness of the night. But before these combat aircraft, another silent weapon entered the skies, the EA-6B Prowler. The Prowler's job wasn't to drop bombs, but it was an electronic hunter. It unleashed powerful waves that made Iraqi radar operators' ears bleed. All they could see on their screens was white noise, their radio signals were cut off. The mighty Iraqi Air Force, which Saddam had proudly boasted about, now stood helpless on its own runways because no pilot knew where the enemy was or how to target them. When American pilots saw that the enemy was blind, they unleashed a shower of laser-guided bombs. Iraqi air bases, from where MiG-29s and Mirage planes could take off, were now reduced to rubble. The American AWACS aircraft in the sky controlled the entire battlefield like a chessboard. This wasn't just a war, it was a ruthless demonstration of technology, where the enemy was sent to their grave without even being given a chance to fight. The sky was under complete American dominance, and on the ground, there was nothing but Iraqi helplessness. As the operation entered its third day, the United States decided to unleash its most fearsome punch, the B-52H Stratofortress. These gigantic bomber aircraft took off from the remote island of Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean and entered Iraqi airspace. Their arrival signaled complete devastation. Each B-52 was loaded with more than 70,000 pounds of bombs, released from high above the clouds. These aircraft initiated carpet bombing, blanketing entire kilometers of ground with bombs. When these bombs rained down on the infamous Republican Guard's hidden tank divisions and weapons depots, it felt as if the earth had split open. Massive plumes of soil and explosives rose miles high, and everything caught in their path turned to ash. The secret bases of Saddam Hussein, suspected sites for chemical weapons production, were now engulfed in nothing but raging fire. This scene was nothing short of doomsday. The ground was searing hot, and the sky was completely shrouded in black smoke. From their high altitude, the B-52 pilots could clearly see the glow of the fires raging below. Iraqi soldiers still hiding in bunkers lost their mental balance after this horrific bombardment. The roar of the explosives was so intense that people living up to 100 kilometers away from Baghdad could feel their house windows trembling. This phase of Desert Fox permanently crippled Iraq's military machinery.